Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? And welcome to episode 6, I think, of the Hobo Slayers Podcast. Uh, I am PallasStreams, and I got with me today Asian Anime Dude.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And they can't hear you, by the way. I did remember to unmute everybody today.
Okay.
I'm purposely not touching my stream deck today as well. uh, this might be the first starting of a podcast episode where I didn't screw something up.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
So how you doing, dude?
I've been good. I've been good. Just been hanging around, trying to catch up on games.
I hear ya. Yeah, I've been doing the same. I've in the past couple past month or so, I've been hitting up games that friends have played that I keep hearing about, but I've not played myself. So trying to catch up, mostly like games with uh like a story.
Yeah, I think in my case, it's been games that like I played previously on stream, but then like dropped in favor of like other games. Not because like I disliked them, but just because something else caught my attention. And
Right.
so like I've been like trying to like be less bad about ignoring games on my backlog.
Right, and it's funny you say that because it's like for Halloween I redid Last of Us, which I played for the first time earlier this year,
Yeah.
and I went for the mentality of, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna play the whole thing again. Let me go for one of the harder trophies in the game. I got within one of it and then screwed up everything at the very end. But the funny thing was, like you said, as I go through it, I notice things as I'm trophy hunting. I'm looking for certain things, and
hmm
because I was doing that, I actually found some little things in the game that I didn't notice the first time I ever played it.
Oh, the second time, or like the next time that you gone through the game.
Yeah, it's like very subtle things I just hadn't noticed before. So
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about like games, like revisiting games that you've already beaten before, is now that you know everything that's going on, you can like start like noticing things like maybe you didn't look at before because you were so focused on trying to get to the end.
right, yeah. The first thing you're focused on getting to the end and trying to figure out the story itself, and then next time you're like, okay, I know the story, so now let me focus on what else is going on in the story I might have caught the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So you've been going through games you played before, and I've been trying to hit new games. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so for those of you who might be new to the channel, why don't you tell a little about yourself?
Sure. So I am, as you can see by, wait, can you see my? Yeah, you can see my username. I am Asian Anime Dude. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just split into three. Asian. I am in fact of Asian descent. I watch a lot of anime, and I am a male. So, but like most of the stuff that I, most of the stuff that I play on my channel are like, I usually play like JRPGs, a lot of like story-based games, roguelikes. I was actually yeah, like yeah, just recently because I think like Palace uh because me and Palace are both part of another stream community called True Gaming. They
Mm-hmm.
just recently had a charity event that I got a slot in, and I was basically playing Hades the entire time. But yeah, so yeah, like roguelikes are right up my alley as well.
Yeah, it was interesting because you actually played a game, like you said, Hades, that you and I both have played before. So that was interesting. You gave me some ideas because the cherry stream before that was the first one ever done. And I had no incentives going in, so I was like, I just played Spider Man. I had no incentives wherever else, and it's like I saw you playing that. I was like, oh, there's features in the game that can be used for incentives. Why did I not know this?
Yeah, I was like trying to come up with because like I think like I've done like charity streams with them before, and like each time like I always like tell myself I'm gonna like come up with incentives. I'm gonna come up with like interesting things that they can donate for, and I always forget each time. But then like this time I was like, what can I do? And like literally like 30 minutes before, I was like, what are things that I could have them like donate for that would like screw me over in the game? Because that's really why people donate
Right.
oftentimes, is like to screw people over while they're playing games. And so I came up with those.
Right. They basically want to see you tortured.
Exactly. And with like roguelikes, that's definitely a thing that's going to happen regardless of whether or not they sabotage me or not, is I
Right.
get screwed over.
It just depends on how much you're gonna get screwed over.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So for like I said before, for anybody that's new to the channel, I'm PallasStreams. I'm a variety streamer as well. I'm all over the place. I'm lately I've been hitting up the story-based single-player games, but I tend to also stick around. Like if I get into a good multiplayer first-person shooter, I can stay there for a while. Most recently, I had like a month or two of Destiny 2. Just really got into that game. Looking at a couple other games come up as well that some other Hobo Slayers been playing. Um, but yeah, just mostly first person shooters and story based first person game, single player games. So that's me in a nutshell. uh, let's see. Do you have anything that you want to cover in particular, or
I'm sorry.
one second? So, you mostly do JRPGs, right?
I do, yeah. That's usually like where my interest peaks the most. Is if I see like a new JRPG, I'll look and be like, will I like this or not?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I don't even know. It's one of those things that I might play a JRPG and not known it because I don't really check out. I don't know what games are considered JRPGs, which ones aren't. So I might have played it and not realized it. So,
It's
uh,
funny because if you ask like the JRPG community, they will give you a bunch of different answers too, as to whether or not certain games are JRPGs or not.
right, yeah.
Like
So
yeah, like for example, like the JRPG community is split on whether the Dark Souls games are considered JRPGs or not.
really, I wouldn't have thought that one.
Yeah, like they're split on that. They're split on like even like Near Automata recently. They were like, that's not a JRPG, that's an action RPG.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of what games I might have played that would be considered that. Nothing comes to mind, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, like yeah, Mortanis is right. Like Final Fantasy is like the usually like the first thing that people think of in terms of
well,
JRPGs.
oh, okay. So I
Uh
did think Final Fantasy, but I haven't. My Final Fantasy game play that I played was when I was a kid, and it was like tactical advance Final Fantasy.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I think those like would probably be more likely to be like classified under like say like strategy RPGs
Right.
sort of thing. Like, but it does have like JRPG esque like influences because obviously it's in the Final Fantasy series. Danzig. Oh, Danzig asking what's your favorite JRPG? Easily the Persona series. So
I've heard a lot of good things
Persona,
about it, but I've yet to play it.
yeah, Danzig is basically doing a callback to like the other podcast that I was on, where basically all I did was talk about either the Go XLR or Persona. Those were literally like the only two things I ever talked about. So you can see where my priorities are.
Right. Hey, it's fine. I mean,
But yeah, yeah. To answer Danzig, yeah, Persona 3 is probably my favorite of the series, although 4 was the first one that I played, and 5 is really good. But 3 I think is probably like my favorite in terms of story and gameplay.
okay. I see Mortan still in there. Hello Kitty Adventure Island 2 The Purge. uh,
Fantasy Star. I've never played Fantasy Star. Chrono Trigger, yes, I really enjoyed that. Earthbound, I played like a little bit, but not that much. And I didn't play those. I didn't play the other two, even though I either own it or have heard of it.
the only I have not played any of those. The closest to any of those I've played has been the new Dragon Quest Builders, which I would not consider that an RPG.
Yeah, it kind of no, I would still say it's kind of like a
I mean, it is
aggressive. Yeah.
Japanese, yes. RPG, not so much. Because I mean, you do have some questing, but I don't. Cause it's not the same. Because my experience with RPGs is like Skyrim, Fallout, things like that, where you're a character, you got a whole world to explore and do, pick your own path, things like that. And so I've not experienced some of the other RPGs per se.
I see. I see. Yeah, there are RPGs in the loosest sense, and yeah, and that's also technically kind of where the like the divide between like people in like the JRPG community as to whether or not something is a JRPG or not, because a lot like it's basically like, do you look at it from the base definition of what like Japanese style RPG, or like is it a JRPG because like it's Japanese style, or is it a JRPG because it was made in Japan? Which is why like there's like a big divide over whether or not the Dark Souls series is a JRPG because it's obviously not made from by a Japanese company, but it has like a lot of the similar elements that you would see in like say like even like a Final Fantasy series where like you're leveling up, you have like a progression, like there's sort of like a story, there's exploration, like there's all those sorts of things.
Right. And Mortanis is busting my bubble here. A lot of people would argue Skyrim and Fallout 4 aren't even RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Secret of Mana. I've not. I don't know if I've heard.
Oh man,
I've heard
Secret
of
of
it. I've
Mana.
never played it.
Yeah, I never played it either. I know I remember there was recently a was it a remaster or like a I don't even remember. But like it was like sort of like re-released slash remastered recently. It was a remaster. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Danzig. But yeah, I never really played Secret of Mana either. I'm aware of it. Like I'm aware of a lot of like JRPG that I just never end up getting to a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm aware of a lot of games in general that I don't never get to or play. I'm pulling up because Mortanis said it. I'm pulling up the Skyrim store page on Steam to see what category it puts it under. It labels it RPG.
Skyrim doesn't even really have skill checks, and Fallout 4 has so few of them that they barely count. But I mean, like they have them, and so it's not a definition of how many of them are in the game. It's a question of like whether or not there are skill checks and skills that you can like level up.
I mean, you can add mods to Skyrim that gives you skill checks.
You could there are so many mods you can add into Skyrim at this point. You call them JRPGs, not traditional ones. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Also not a JRPG, but Knights of the Old. Oh my gosh, Knights of the Old Republic. You're pulling out an old reference right there.
So I will say I've played a little bit of it, but I haven't played much. So that's one I can say I have played before as a RPG. Yeah, I'm so far behind on games. I mean, y'all are throwing out games here. I'm just like, I've heard the name. That's about it. So since we're so on that topic, since we're talking about games we missed off that, let's kind of go through this here. What systems, consoles, PCs, etc. have you had? So we kind of get an idea what games you might have played, and I'll share mine.
Sure. Okay, so console wise, obviously PC. Um, I had a SNES, and I would basically only play like Super Mario World on it. PlayStation 2 is
Classic.
probably like yeah, PlayStation 2 is probably like where I spent like the bulk of my gaming. It wouldn't even be a career because this isn't a career for me, but like that's where like I really like got introduced like to a lot of like JRPGs. So mostly like the Final Fantasy series. That's when I also discovered like Persona, and then from there, I didn't really even have a console until PS4.
Okay. So I missed out on a lot myself. My cousin had NES and Super Nintendo. He had an N64, which he didn't hand it down to me when he got something else.
Mm-hmm.
He also had Sega Genesis that he had handed down to me. So my first two was, well, he gave me a Game Boy. So my very first game I ever owned myself was Pokemon Red.
Oh, that's right, and also Game Boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Pokemon Red was the first thing I ever owned myself. And then he handed me the N64, which I had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which I never finished Majora's Mask. I never could get past the first day. I'd get to, well, take it back. I'd get to like the point where you're almost to the point of going forward the second day, and something would happen, or maybe phrase that. I would get to the third day, but it was one of those things that I wouldn't be far enough to go back in time yet.
Oh, you're talking Majora's Mask, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'd get far enough I could get to the third day, but then the day would end and then it'd be all over. So I never got that far in that game. So it was those
Oh,
two.
so you didn't even get to like the part where you got your ocarina back, so you could go back to the first day.
Nope, nope.
Oh, okay. Oh man.
And so N64, Sega Genesis, which I played lots against, I wore out. I don't know if it was just me or anyone else in chat. If any of y'all had Sega Genesis, did y'all's controllers, were they horrible? Mine were like the buttons, like you could buy a brand new controller, like 2 weeks later they start sticking. So the buttons won't work half the time. And then when another cousin on PS1, which I played it, and that is and my neighbor also had a PS1, so I got to play other people's PS1s. So basically, all I remember from PS1 generation was Twisted Metal, Spyro, and Metal Gear Solid. That's all I remember from that era. Eventually on the PS2, and I had maybe 4 or 5 games there. And I didn't own anything else until I hit college, where I got a Xbox 360. And so I've had Xbox 360 and Xbox One. And this past year, I finally got a PS4 and a Switch. And of course, I've got a PC.
Yeah, me getting like a PS4 was like sort of like finally, just because like there was like so much stuff like on the PS4 that I just wanted to play, like Final Fantasy 15 until like it got ported to like the PC, so I played it on Steam. Like mainly Persona 5 because I had been like waiting so long, because obviously, as it's abundantly clear, I'm a Persona 4 addict.
I'll be
So I
honest.
was happy when I could finally play Persona 5, and Kingdom Hearts 3. Although it's kind of funny because I have it like sitting in my library. I still have not played Kingdom Hearts 5 or 5. Kingdom Hearts 3. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 5 either, but that's not out yet.
So I'll be honest. If it hadn't been for the fact I managed to get into what they call Microsoft Student Partners, where you're like it's a program through Microsoft where you can promote their products and get free stuff. If it hadn't been for that, where I got the free Xbox 360, I probably wouldn't have had a console after PS2 until this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I never really got like into like the Xbox stuff. I was always like more like on the Sony side. Also, Danzig saying Persona 5 literally stole my soul in time for 2 solid straight months. That is my mood. Persona 5 literally stole, or I wouldn't even say stole because I willingly gave it. But I think I've like mentioned this like many times at this point. Like I like if I'm okay playing streaming a game for almost 18 hours straight to
18
finish
hours?
it,
What?
I'm okay with that. Yeah, that was literally I streamed for 18 hours straight the final 2 dungeons of Persona 5
Jeez.
to finish it.
I think the longest stream I've done has been 8 hours, 9 hours. As long as I've done.
No, that's not my longest stream though. My longest stream is like 40 something hours because I've told this story so many times.
Oh, you forgot we let go.
where I left for the weekend and forgot that my stream was on, or didn't realize that my stream was on. Played PFI for
Yeah.
47 hours straight day one.
The,
Danzig understands.
the
That's the life of a Persona player.
the longest I've done has been half an hour, I think, after the stream ended because I forgot to hit end stream and someone was messaging me in Discord like, "Hey, by the way, just so you know, we can hear. I pull up your channel, we can hear everything that a person's saying on your channel."
Yeah. Oh man. Like yeah. Like my 40-something hour stream was like just great because I had left for the weekend because I was like going like back bike packing. Like we were like camping for like the weekend, like, and we were like biking, and like I'm on like the trail and like we're taking a break, and then like I pull out my phone and like apparently like someone messages like, you do realize your stream is on right now? I was like, what? And then like I pulled up my stream. I was like, oh, you see this?
A couple messages in chat here I want to catch up on. 100% Genesis controls were actually hot garbage. The Genesis had the worst control on the planet. Everyone always thought the 6-button replacements, which were marginally less trash. Yeah, I went through 3 or 4 controllers, finally just gave up on it, and that's when I just like, I'll just go back and play the Switch, not Switch, 64. I wish I had the Switch back then. But yeah, I didn't have many games Sega Genesis. It was I had Sonic the Hedgehog. I had Mortal Kombat 2, I think. I had Earthworm Jim.
Oh my gosh, Earthworm Jim.
I forgot. I don't know what. I saw something about Earthworm Jim. Are they remaking it or something? Is what I saw the other day.
Are they?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Earthworm Jim is a classic. Yes, both the original like animation and the game. I don't know. Like maybe they are. Maybe they are. They remastered it a while ago. Remakes re-release. Let me look. Oh, they made a remake of the original game. 2010.
Yeah, I was right. 1994 Sega Genesis.
Oh, they did announce a new game. Oh, interesting. Comes out October next year. Earthworm Jim HD.
Yeah, so that's coming out. But yeah, I had that on Sega Genesis, and then like 64, it was Ocarina of Time. It was Mario. What was it? Mario Kart 64. Spent a lot of time on that game.
Yeah, aka the only Mario Kart that I can actually play.
Yeah, same
like I just never got used to the newer ones.
Yeah, I can watch people play it, but I was like, I tried it. I don't know whose Switch it was, but I tried it for somebody, and it was like, yeah, this ain't the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Mario Kart. Wasn't there a Castlevania? Was that in NES?
I believe there was a Castlevania for the 64, but there definitely was also for the Super Nintendo.
I think it was called Castlevania 64.
Yeah, Castlevania 64. Yeah, there was one for the 64.
Yeah, so I played that. It was trash. I didn't own that one. That was my cousin's. I got to borrow it.
It's okay, Mortanis. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, in that case, I was horrible at that game, so that was trash for me as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really got into like Metroidvania games.
I did not play that.
I enjoy watching them, and they're great speedrun games. I just love watching speedruns. I just never got into it myself.
I don't have the patience.
But like I will watch speedruns of anything.
Yeah, I've watched. I'm gonna say his name wrong. Thero.
Oh yeah, Thero. Shout out to a fellow Hobo Slayer, Thero.
Yeah, I've watched him do. Is it
Super Mario?
Super Mario 64. Dude, the guy on the. It's not even the first boss in the game, but it's like you go through the first world and the guy on top of the mountain that like falls foul on you. I've never gotten past him. So I
Yeah,
watched.
I just have utmost respect for all the people that do speedruns, especially for Super Mario and Ocarina of Time, just because those like the mechanical and like the mechanical like requirements for like some of like the glitches and stuff that they do are like super tight and require like, and just speedrunning in general requires a lot of practice. So
Yeah, but yeah, I've seen him play that, and every time it's like 5 minutes in, he's already gotten past that one. I'm like, I spent 3 hours and didn't get past that.
yeah.
It's like they just got so much patience and willing working with the game. It's like it's unreal.
OOT and SM64 speedruns are things you would almost consider art. They're amazing to watch. They are really amazing to watch. And it's also just really amazing like the things that they have found. Like for example, like with OOT. Like for the longest time, like it's just been interesting for me to like watch like speed like the evolution of OOT. Because actually that's what actually first got me into joining Twitch, was watching OOT speedrunners. And like for the longest time, like like it was cool like watching there, and then just like seeing like the discoveries they make along the way, like when they discovered like wrong warping in OOT, and they're like, oh, this is so cool. And then when they theorized that you could actually wrong warp to Ganon's castle, and then they actually got it to work, and how that changed all of the routes. And then like even now I think like they apparently just like discovered like something else new that allows you to like get almost just about any item in the game, which is also going to just change all the routes completely. So it's just been really cool watching everything that they change.
Yeah, and Danzig, I did see your question earlier. He asked if I ever think I'll stream my joints mass now to try and get further. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know. Do what?
that would be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah. I'm just kind of I'm curious how that would work because
It's
if
just
I
gonna
had
be funny, like because like the Majora's like mask category is literally just all the speedrunners, and then there'll be like you,
yes,
like toddling through the game.
yeah, that would be interesting. Um, um, I, I'd have to look into that because I don't know how. I assume I would need the console or because I have the game. So because I have the game, can I do an emulated or I
You
forget how that
can,
works
you can.
because
I
I
mean,
own the
like
game. It's
yes,
at my
you can.
parents' house, so I have the game and the console at my parents' house. But I don't know how I'd hook up the game or the console to my computer and all that stuff without paying a bunch of money. So I'm wondering if I could do an
Hmm.
emulation of it and play it that way.
You can. I'm pretty sure a lot of like the, I'm pretty sure like a lot of like the more beginner streamers anyway are running on emulators
I mean,
generally.
that's how they do the randomizers, isn't it?
The randomizer, yes. I kind of technically, because I think also like with the randomizers, like it's emulation in a sense, but it's also like they're running it through like Wii Virtual Console or like some other like virtual console thing. But like
Gotcha.
those are also in themselves like in essence emulations.
Right. I mean, I'm going to visit parents for the holidays. I could easily grab it. Like I said, I don't know how I would stream it if I use the actual console itself. But
Yeah,
that would be that, like you said, that would be interesting. Have all the speedrunners and then me. Let's see.
yeah.
I'm
Just
work.
even
I'll
title it going for my PB.
do what?
Even like title it like PB attempts.
I was working on doing Ocarina of Time randomizers, but really need to brush up back on the game before I do that. Yeah, that's another one I want to go back through again. Is Ocarina of Time. I loved Ocarina of Time. I hated the forest dungeon. Hated that one a passion. I would get so lost in there.
Oh, interesting. The one that everyone, or at least the one that I hate, and the one that I see noticed a lot of people hate, is the water temple.
That can be annoying. I I just didn't like Forest Temple because I would get so confused with all the different ways because it's like that's the one where the certain runes flip and things like that, and you get turned around, and I always get confused about which way I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one guy with the blind playthrough. Yep, I've been
I'll be
using
right back.
that tag recently actually. Okay, there we go. Oh, we lost him. But yeah, I've been using that blind playthrough tag a lot more with Horizon Zero Dawn. They make adapter cables to convert N64 to HDMI, which can be connected to a capture card. Water table isn't really that bad. Front table is way worse. Danzig, can you send me info on the N64, GameCube, SNES to HDMI? Like, send me a link or something like that so I can look into it. Because if you do that, then I will definitely consider it. If it's not too bad expensive. So. We've lost Asian. I got a notification in Discord right as he stepped away, so I didn't hear if he said anything. Okay. So do y'all have any questions for me while we're waiting on him to get back? Let me mute that so. Thank you, Danzig. Ooh, that's not bad at all. Okay, so next question is why is there we go. I shouldn't get enough the ding anymore. Okay, what's the game plan for Atlanta? Well, what do you mean? As far as like what I'll be doing there? Is that what you mean? It's a good question. So, for those of you who don't know, tomorrow, a few of us in Huntsville are traveling to Atlanta for DreamHack. So if you pull that up, you'll see all what DreamHack is. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Oh, they finally have a schedule up. Okay. Oh, they're putting Clash of Clans on main stage. What? Alright, everybody. So quick note, Asian Anime Dude actually has to go.
Yeah, my bad, guys. My bad. I thought I was free, but something came up that I need to attend to really quickly. But if anyone is able, and if anyone in chat wants to hop in, you can take my spot for today.
Yep. So I do know we have a couple of team members in chat as well. If anyone wants to join in on the conversation. Wish I could. My voice still gone from being sick. Alright, no worries. Well, since we don't have anyone else, we could call it here. Uh, so hopefully we can get Asian anime dude back soon and do another episode. So that'll be it for today, at least. And Danzig, if you want, we can talk about that after the stream. Um, in the meantime, let's see who we got online that we can raid. We have Paladin online. He's the only other team member online, so let's raid him. Alright, bye. It's been great. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Once again, this is the Hobo Slayers Podcast. I am PallasStreams. This is Asian Anime Dude.
Yeah, and I'm Asian Anime Dude. And
there you go. Do you want to give a quick blurb about how people can find you?
oh, I mean, like, yeah, sure. So I'm basically my username on Twitch and Twitter is Asian Anime Dude. I think also on Instagram, but I don't really like use my Instagram for much except like liking other people's things. Although I need to like get back on that. But yeah, like on all of those, it's Asian Anime Dude.
Cool.
And also on YouTube actually, where I've been trying to like post like Hades runs. So that's what I do in my. I've been like trying to like get better about doing off Twitch stuff, and so I've been trying to like record Hades runs and put them on YouTube.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. I didn't realize. I think I knew you had a YouTube. I don't think I'm following it. So,
that account is old enough that it actually that I actually have the youtube.com/Asian Anime Dude, because it was before they started assigning like those random character things to all of the Twitch account or to all the YouTube accounts.
Yes. So I'm one of those that has the random characters. I had to hit 100 subscribers before I can get my own.
Yeah, that's the thing that they do now.
Yep. So I am PallasStreams everywhere except YouTube, where I'm just Pallas, because that's the only place I can get Pallas. So I am trying to learn more of video editing. When I haven't had much time lately to do it, but hopefully we'll be doing it more, and so I can get stuff on YouTube as well. But like I said, PallasStreams everywhere except YouTube. And that's it for us today, everybody. Hope you'll have a great night. We're gonna raid It's Paladin, who is doing the Owl. He's doing the Owl and Stream Raiders. So be sure to tell him where you came from, that this is a Hobo Slayer raid, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah, see you guys.